up refusing to keep his wife in line instead of telling her to shut the fuck up and keep her hands off me. My aunt really needs to be kept the fuck in line. There's a little something, some punishment coming a man's way if he doesn't keep his wife in line and tell his wife to keep her hands off of another man. I don't care who it is. I don't care at all. You see your wife put her hands on another man and you don't keep her in line, there's going to be problems. You're going to be facing serious problems and serious trouble if you don't keep your wife in line. Make your wife watch her fucking P's and Q's. I don't care if it's your brother, your son, your nephew, or your father. When your wife gets out of line and runs her mouth and puts her hands on the men in the same family, you deserve punishment for that. You are to never let your wife disrespect even the men in the same family. You are to keep your wife in line and keep your wife in check, and you better start showing some damn respect as well to another man. He's not going to put up with you allowing your wife to get out of line and overstep her fucking bounds. My aunt just overstepped her fucking bounds. My punk ass, punk bitch motherfucker of an uncle allowed his wife to disrespect me. And yet he allows his wife to get out of line because he's not doing what he better be doing as a man. When you see your wife disrespect even your own nephew, tell your wife to shut the fuck up and keep her fucking hands off of her nephew or her son or your brother or the much older generation of men in the family. Because that's my fucking problem is that dipshit men don't want to keep their wives in line. When you don't want to keep your wife in line, that's when there's going to be a fucking problem. You don't ever, ever let your wife get out of line like that. Jason Deweese, don't put up with that shit. Jason Deweese, don't put up with that shit. Jason Muncie, Indiana Deweese, does not put up with that shit. Men don't have the right to let their wives get out of line like that at all. Either tell your wife to knock her shit off or sign divorce papers. Women will learn their place. Misandry will not be tolerated. Furthermore, men deserve the utmost respect. I don't care who you are. If you're a mom or an aunt, you better respect every man in the fucking family. Even your son, who's a fucking grown ass man, or your nephew, who's a fucking grown ass man. Don't get out of line at all. The problem with men these days is they think they can get by with letting their wives, fiancés, or girlfriends get out of line with other men. You are to never let your woman, I don't care who the fuck she is, you should never let a woman get out of line like that. You should never get by with allowing your woman to get by with that shit and get out of line like that and to start running her mouth and put her hands on people. Tell your wife to knock her shit off or you're gonna divorce her. Or you would be able to find a woman who knows her damn place. Misandry and disrespect will never be tolerated. Not at all. If you're a man and you're watching this, I strongly advise you to tell your woman to knock her shit off or you're going to leave her. If you see your woman put her hands on a man that she has no business putting her hands on and running her mouth at, kick her to the curb. You cannot allow that shit to happen. It ain't okay. It ain't okay to get by with allowing your woman to be disrespectful. It ain't okay. I don't care how old you are. You can be 13 years old or 50 or 60 years old. You do not get by with allowing your woman to disrespect another man. I don't care who it is. You don't allow your wife to disrespect. You don't allow your woman to disrespect another man in front of you at all. You don't allow your woman, I don't care if she's your girlfriend, your fiance, or your wife. You don't allow your woman to disrespect another man. I don't care who it is. Either if it's even if it's a grandson, a son, a grandnephew, a nephew, or a brother or a father. Never get by with allowing your woman to get out of line at all. I don't care who it is. No to do these things. Tell your woman to shut up or you're going to kick her ass to the curb. You can find another woman who actually knows not to do that shit. That seems to be the problem with men these days. They're stupid enough to let their woman get by with disrespecting other men. Even if it's in your own family, you do not get by with allowing your woman to disrespect another man right in front of you. Tell your woman to knock her shit off. That ain't okay. When your girlfriend, fiance, or wife gets out of line, tell her to knock her crap off. Tell your woman to mind her own fucking business. If it doesn't involve her, tell her knock her crap off. If she has no right sticking her nose where it don't belong, you tell her to keep her nose out of another man's business. Or you don't deserve to have a girlfriend, a fiance, or a wife. If you can't tell your woman to mind her own damn business, you don't deserve to be a married man. Period. At all. When you are to tell your woman to knock her shit off, you do it. It's aggravating when men don't put their woman in their place. No man should have to tolerate another man getting by with allowing his woman to disrespect him. Never allow your woman to disrespect another man. Never do that. You don't get by with allowing your woman to disrespect another man like that. That's what's wrong with this country. Men who think they can get by with allowing their woman to disrespect another man. If you can't even keep your woman in line, you don't deserve to be with her. If you can't keep her in line, You're not going to get by with allowing a woman, in the family, you don't allow a woman to disrespect another man in front of you. Not at all. That will not be tolerated anymore. That's a problem with these little boys of the boomer generation and little boys of the Gen X generation. These little boys, these little dumbass boys of the boomer generation and the Gen X generation won't do what they're supposed to do. Keep your woman in line, or there's going to be problems for you. What part of that don't these little boys of the boomer generation and the Gen X generation don't understand? Keep your woman in line. Don't let your woman disrespect another man in front of you. In certain incidences, when your woman instigates the problem, pull her away from it. If it doesn't concern her at all, don't ever do it. That's a problem with these immature little boys of the boomer generation and the Gen X generation not doing what they're supposed to do. Not doing what they're supposed to do as men. The silent generation tolerated no bullshit from their spouse. The men of the silent generation kept their women in line. The men of the boomer generation are incapable of keeping their women in line. And the men from the Gen X generation are incapable of keeping their woman in line. Learn how to keep your woman from putting her hands and running her mouth at men, even millennial men, and tell her to keep her nose out of somebody else's business. I don't care if a man lives in the same household as you and her. Keep your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend in line, or you're going to have problems. Not joking. Men need to be taught. Boomer generation men, and Gen X generation men need to learn to keep their women in line. Not agitate the problem any further by not telling her to back off. When you're told to keep your wife in line or your girlfriend or your fiance in line, that's not a fucking suggestion. That's a fucking mandatory thing. And you are to apologize on your woman's behalf for her behavior. Her behavior reflects badly on you as a man. Grow a fucking spine and tell a woman that she's no longer allowed to have any say in anything until she has her behavior corrected. That's my problem with women in this family and the men in this family not doing what they're supposed to do. Women are to be mindful about their poor attitude and their poor behavior. Other men, are to correct their woman's behavior and their attitude by telling them, if you don't straighten the fuck up as my woman, I'll boot you out of my life. the wedding will be null and void. You will be ceasing to exist in my life as a woman. And I will sign the divorce papers if you don't fucking quit your attitude and your piss poor behavior as a woman. That's the problem with these little boys from these 2 generations prior to mine. They don't want to act like real men and tell their woman to knock her shit off. That's the one thing that pisses Jason Muncie, Indiana DeWeese off. Jason Muncie, Indiana DeWeese, don't put up with that, even in my own family. Act like a real man and correct your wife's misbehavior and her fucking attitude, and tell your wife to never stick her nose where it never belongs. I don't give a flying fuck if it's under your roof. Keep your woman in line. Keep your woman in check. Make sure she knows to follow the fucking rules. Play by the rules as a woman. And also, you as a man better play by the rules, or else there's going to be problems. That's all I got to say about that, because women really need to be put in their place. Men need to learn to knock their shit off and not get by with allowing a woman to be disrespectful. I'm pissed. Jason Muncie, Indiana DeWeese, is pissed.